Hands where I can see them. The words sliced through the hum of the refrigerator behind me. I froze, the orange juice sweating in my palm. "I'm paying," I said quietly. "Now," he barked. I lifted one hand, the bottle still dangling from the other. "I'm not doing anything wrong." His boots scraped closer. "Receipt." "I'm about to get—" He grabbed my wrist so fast my mind stuttered. My body tensed, breath catching as his grip dug into bone. "Ow! Let go!" "Stop resisting. I'm not." The sound came out smaller than I wanted. Then the slap hit. A white flash. My ear rang like a siren inside my skull. The bottle slipped, rolled under a shelf, and the world shrank to the sting on my face and the copper in my mouth. Someone gasped. A woman near the counter shouted, "I'm filming this!" The store owner's voice trembled. "Officer, please, you can't just—" "Back up!" The cop's voice cracked like thunder. "Everyone back!" I stood shaking. "I'm 17, I managed, my throat dry. "Don't move." "I said I'm 17. He twitched, like the number hit somewhere he didn't expect. Still, his hand hovered near his weapon. My body moved on instinct. I pulled my phone from my pocket with my free hand, thumb shaking over the screen. "Don't reach!" he snapped. "I'm calling my dad," I said. He took a step forward, but the screen was already ringing. "Pick up, pick up, pick up." The call connected. "Noah?" Dad's voice, steady, deep, the kind that carried order even through static. "Dad," I breathed. He hit me. What's happening?" "Two cops. One, he slapped me, put me on speaker," Dad said, voice turning sharp and low. The officer's partner shifted. "What's going on, Brent?" Dad's voice filled the aisle, deep and calm. "This is Judge Adrian Ellison." "Identify yourselves." The man's grip loosened. His partner blinked fast. "Judge," the cop repeated, voice cracking. "Holster your weapon," Dad said. "Step back from my son." "Sir, we didn't know—" "That's the problem," Dad said. "You didn't ask." I stood there, cheek burning, the phone trembling in my hand. I could see the fear bloom behind the badge. His fingers twitched, his voice shrinking. "Please," he said, eyes flicking toward the woman still filming. "Let's not make this worse." The store was silent except for the buzzing fridge. "Everyone was watching, officer," Dad said, voice like a verdict. "You just did." The officer's mouth opened, but nothing came out. I stared at him. This man who looked right through me and saw something dangerous, not human. "You never asked who I was," I said, tasting blood and something heavier. He swallowed hard. "Please, don't post that video." I almost laughed, but it caught in my throat like a shard of glass. "I didn't need a video," I said quietly. "I needed respect." He looked away. His silence felt like confession. I ended the call. Dad's last words echoed through me like law carved in bone. "You did nothing wrong," the store owner whispered. "You okay, son?" "I will be," I said, though my voice shook. My cheek throbbed where his hand had landed. But inside me, something else was forming. Something steady. Like the beginning of a storm that finally knew its name. "Open your mouth for me," the EMT said. I did. My jaw ached like a door kicked wrong. "Am I bleeding?" "Not open," he said. "It'll bruise." "It already is," I said, and I meant more than skin. Dad's shoes cut the noise before I saw him. "Noah, look at me." I raised my eyes. His gaze steadied my breath the way a hand steadies a shaking glass. "I'm here," he said. Officer Calloway cleared his throat. "Sir, it was a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding doesn't leave a handprint," Dad said. His partner whispered, "Brent, stop talking." I touched my cheek and felt the heat. "Do I need an x-ray?" The EMT shook his head. "Ice and time. Time's never been kind," I muttered. Mom's voice cracked the doorway like light. "Baby." She reached me and cupped my face without touching the sore part. "What did they do?" "They decided," I said. The words tasted like metal again. She closed her eyes. "Of course they did." Officer Calloway inched closer. "Judge Ellison, I want to—" Dad lifted his phone. "Lieutenant Price, Adrian Ellison. I'm invoking immediate review. Officers Brent Calloway and Dana Keene, Body cams, incident reports, civilian videos, store footage. Secure them now. Calloway's mouth twitched. Judge Ellison, off the record. There is no off the record, Dad said. The EMT pretended to fuss with gauze. I heard his swallow. Officer Keene finally spoke, voice small. He needs space. I needed respect, I said. Mom's jaw set. Say his name. Calloway blinked. I already say his name right, she said, voice steel wrapped in velvet. His eyes flicked to me as if names were traps. Noah Ellison. Good, Mom said. Now say what you did. The room held its breath. Sirens murmured outside like a bad lullaby. Calloway's lips thinned. I made a mistake. Dad's phone clicked off speaker. Lieutenant Price is on her way. Judge, Calloway tried again. We can resolve this. You'll try to minimize it, Dad said. We'll resolve it. The EMT pressed a cold pack to my cheek. I winced. Do I look stupid holding orange juice wrong? No, he said, eyes soft. You look like a kid who got hurt. 17, I said, as if the number could pry something open. He nodded. 17. Mom tucked the ice against my skin, her hand steadying the shake I couldn't hide. You were just buying juice. I was just being, I said. You were just being black, she said, and the sentence landed like a brick on a table everyone kept pretending was empty. My breath hitched. I tried to laugh it away and couldn't. That's the whole incident report, isn't it? Dad stepped closer so I could smell his aftershave and patience. We'll do this the right way. I hate that right always means long, I said. It also means lasting, he said. Then let's use our names, I said. And the tremble in my voice tried to betray me. I let it. Let's use every letter. Calloway shifted. Judge, my record. Your record will meet the record, Dad said, pointing at the phone still held up by trembling hands around the store. And both will meet the law. Keene rubbed her temple. Brent, enough. I'm trying to fix it, he hissed. You can't fix what you won't name, I said. He looked at me then, really looked, as if humanity needed a judge's surname to be visible. I'm sorry, he said, the word shaped like defense, not confession. Mom's voice cut him clean. You're sorry you got seen. The store owner, Frank, edged closer, wringing his cap. Kid, Noah, do you want to sit? I got a stool. I want my face back, I said. And then softer. Thank you, Dad called out. Officer Keene, secure your partner's body cam. It malfunctioned, Calloway said quickly. Convenient timing, I said. The ice dripped down my wrist and felt like waking. Dad spoke into the phone again. Lieutenant, note the claimed malfunction. He ended the call and looked at me. Lieutenant Price is en route with a tech. Good, Mom said. Maybe tech can detect bias better than men. Keene's eyes flicked to her. Ma'am, save it for the statement, Mom said. The EMT lowered the ice and checked the color blooming along my jaw. Keep it up for 20 minutes at a time, he said. If your bite changes or you can't close fully, ER, can you document it? Dad asked. Photographs, measurements? Already did, the EMT said, showing the tablet. The image stabbed me with my own face. I don't want to be proof, I said. You're a person first, Mom whispered. Proof is what we make when they deny the person. Calloway tried to find a corner that would swallow him. I'm asking for a chance to... Stop asking us to carry your comfort, I said. He flinched. Keene's shoulders slumped like a secret loosening. He's right, she whispered toward the floor. What did you say? Mom asked. Keene looked up. He's right. The sentence hung like a rung on a ladder I didn't trust yet. Frank shifted again. Noah, you want me to turn off the music? It's a lot. I want the truth turned on, I said. Dad breathed in slow, then placed a palm an inch above my shoulder, close enough to anchor, far enough not to jolt the hurt. We moved from here. Names, not numbers. Facts, not feelings disguised as facts. I have feelings, I said. I'm going to keep them. Keep them, he said. We'll frame them with law. Mom brushed my hair back from the swelling. Sweetheart, do you want to go to the hospital first or straight to internal affairs? Internal affairs, I said. The ice pack bit, and I leaned into the sting. I don't want to lose the heat. Calloway swallowed. Judge Ellison, for what it's worth, it isn't, I said. He shut his mouth. I steadied my breath and spoke to the EMT. Will the bruise fade by Monday? It'll yellow, he said gently. Then it'll fade. I don't want it to fade before it's recorded, I said. I'm tired of healing being mistaken for lying. Mom squeezed my shoulder. We won't let it, Dad nodded once. Lieutenant Price will meet us at headquarters. Frank, preserve your camera footage. Done, Frank said quickly. I'll save it to a drive. Keene took a step toward me. Noah, I'll make a full statement. You'll tell the truth, I said. That's not a favor. That's your job. She nodded, eyes wet, and for a second I felt the tremor of a world that might still be repairable if enough people spoke in full sentences. I looked at Dad. I'm ready. You sure? He asked. No, I said. But I'm still ready, he almost smiled. That's courage. Feels like fire, I said. We'll carry water with it, Mom said. I lifted the melting ice and let the cold sting write my next breath. Let's go say everything with our whole names. Dad opened the door. The outside air met the store's hum like two truths finally touching. I stepped forward, jaw aching, spine taller than it had been an hour ago. I didn't leave the hurt behind. I carried it where it could be heard. State your name for the record, Lieutenant Price said. The fluorescent hum scratched my nerves. Noah Ellison? Age? 17. Date of birth? I gave it. My voice sounded older than the numbers. Officer? Brent Calloway, he said, throat tight. Partner? Dana Keene, she said, eyes fixed on a coffee ring. Not me. Ava slid into the chair beside me, calm like a scalpel. Ava Sinclair, counsel for Mr. Ellison. She tapped the recorder. We're on the record, correct? Correct, Lieutenant Price said. We'll proceed. Dad sat behind me, not the bench today, just a father with quiet gravity. I felt him there like a wall that would not collapse. Ava leaned forward. Officer Calloway, was your body cam active during the interaction with my client? It malfunctioned, he said. Convenient, Ava said. I can provide maintenance logs, he added. You will, Lieutenant Price said. Mr. Ellison, start at the counter. What did you say? What did he say? I said I was paying for orange juice. He said, hands where I can see them. He grabbed my wrist before I could set the bottle down. Calloway cut in. He was non-compliant. I turned to him. I reached for my receipt. Ava held up a palm. Let him finish, I swallowed. I told him my age, 17. He slapped me right after. Objection to phrasing, Calloway mumbled as if a courtroom could appear by wishing. Ava didn't blink. This isn't trial. It's truth. Continue, Noah. He said stop resisting while he kept my wrist pinned. I wasn't resisting. I was breathing. Mr. Ellison, Lieutenant Price said, did you make any sudden movements? I made scared ones, I said. Every movement looks sudden when you're already judged. A silence widened, thin and sharp. Ava slid a sheet across the table. We also have civilian videos. You'll note the timestamp aligns with the store register. Lieutenant? I've received 5 separate uploads, Lieutenant Price said. Angles vary. Audio is clear. Calloway's jaw clicked. Phones don't show threat assessment. Your handprint did, I said. Keene's finger traced the coffee ring again and again. I watched the loop and felt heat rise in my cheek like it remembered the slap before my mind did. Ava turned to Calloway. You called him boy 3 times. Calloway blinked. I don't recall? I recall everything, I said, suddenly steady. Memory tasted like iron, but it held. You said, boy, don't move, and boy, don't reach, and boy, don't make me do this. Ava slid another page. Transcript from the closest phone. Audio confirms 2 of the 3. The 3rd is muffled but probable. Probable isn't proof, he said. Ava's smile had no heat. 2 is enough to show pattern. Lieutenant Price adjusted the recorder. Officer Keene, did you hear the term boy used? Keene's mouth opened, then shut. She stared at the ring until it blurred. I can't be certain. Dana, Calloway hissed, a warning disguised as a name. I heard my breath and Dad's breath and the room's breath. The hum got louder, or maybe I did. Ava spoke softly now, scalpel to suture. Officer Keene, you told Noah in the store that he needed space. You used the past tense, needed. Why? Keene swallowed. Because he'd already been touched. Touched how? Ava asked. Keene's voice thinned. Struck, Calloway lurched. We're not, Dana, don't... Ava tapped the recorder with her pen, gentle as a doorbell. That's on the record. He glared at me. You were non-compliant. I was buying juice. You reached for my receipt. You looked like every kid who has ever been told to make himself smaller, I said. I didn't comply with that. No one wrote. No one coughed. The silence had weight and corners. Price broke it with clipped syllables. Officer Calloway, explain your decision to lay hands on a minor prior to completing a verbal de-escalation cycle. He posed an unknown risk, he said. Ava's eyebrow lifted. Unknown is not a synonym for black, he flushed. I didn't say that. You didn't have to, I said. The words surprised me with their calm. Keene spoke to the ring again. He shouldn't have touched him. Dana, he warned. She straightened, finally looking at me. He shouldn't have touched you? My throat tightened in a way that had nothing to do with pain. I nodded once. Thank you, Ava pivoted. Lieutenant, we request immediate sequestration of internal messages between these officers and their unit for the last 60 days. Group chats, roll call notes, anything referencing stop protocols near DeLuca Market. Authorized, Lieutenant Price said. I'll issue the hold now. Calloway rubbed his temple like truth was a migraine. Judge Ellison is using his position to... Dad's voice came from behind me, quiet as a gavel. I'm using my name to sit in a chair and watch my son speak. That's all. I felt his hand hover over my shoulder again, not touching, still stabilizing. I sat up straighter. Ava gestured to my face. Documented bruising at 2:41 p.m., measured by EMT, photographs appended. Officer, was stop resisting a trained response or a reflex? It's standard command, he said. Standard for what? I asked. For getting away with it? He stared at the table as if an answer would write itself there. For control, he said finally. Control's easy when you pick the smallest voice, I said. You just miscounted mine. Keene let out a breath that sounded like surrender. We were told to keep stops tight near the store after a string of shoplifts, she said. Profiles were vague. Profiles are always vague until a face fills them, I said. Then suddenly they're certain. Ava's pen clicked once. Thank you, Officer Keene, Lieutenant Price nodded. Officer, submit a supplemental statement by end of day. Include supervisory directives. Calloway looked at Keene like she'd moved the ground. You're ending your career, she flinched but held. I'm starting my conscience. I let the words soak into the bruise under my skin. They cooled something I didn't know could cool. Ava stacked her papers. Mr. Ellison, any final additions for this interview? Yes, I said. My voice didn't shake. When I said my age, he hit me. When I gave my name, he asked for mercy. The order matters. Lieutenant Price's pen paused midair. Then it moved again. Noted. Calloway looked up, eyes shiny in a way I didn't trust. I'm not a monster. I didn't call you one, I said. I called you by what you did, Keene whispered. That's fair. Ava capped her pen. We'll provide our exhibits and await your evidence hold, Lieutenant. Hold is in effect, Lieutenant Price said. We reconvene after digital forensics. I stood. The chair legs scraped. The sound felt like a page turning. Dad placed a hand on my back, warm, legal, human. Calloway's voice followed me to the door. Noah. I looked over my shoulder. He swallowed. I don't recall saying boy. I do, I said, and I didn't raise my voice. I recall everything. Bro, you're trending, Jamal said, sliding beside me at my locker. I'm not a meme. They're stitching the slap with those corny sound effects. I'm not background music either. You want me to report them? I want them to watch it without laughing. He lowered his voice. You good to be here? I'm good to be loud. Ms. Hardy stepped into the hall like a hush. Let's keep politics out of class today, Noah. My face isn't politics. I mean the tension. The tension hit me first. She glanced at my jaw and looked away. Take your seat. We'll do vocabulary. Add dehumanized to the list. A kid 2 rows back muttered, Cop's got a tough job. So does my skin, I said. He shrugged. Should have just complied. With a slap? With instructions. Instructions came after the hand. Ms. Hardy clapped softly. Enough. Not enough, I said, but I bit the rest. My throat felt raw. The room smelled like dry markers and avoidance. After class, the counselor caught me near the water fountain. Noah, I'm glad you came to school. Consider a restorative circle. For who to be restored? For the community. I'm part of it. Restore me first. It might help to hear each other. I heard his palm. What else is there? She tried again, softer. There's grief in the room. There's grief in my face. She nodded, not offended, just small. If you change your mind, if they change theirs. Jamal leaned against the locker. You scorched her, man. I didn't. I told her where the fire started. You still heading to practice? I'm heading to something. Haven't named it yet. In the cafeteria, a boy I barely knew called, Hey, Judge's kid, how's the lawsuit? My name isn't Judge's kid, so what is it? Noah. Okay, Noah, you gonna get paid? I'm trying to get us safe. That doesn't cash out. It's the only currency that matters. He smirked. It made my stomach twist. I kept moving. Every step felt like pushing through wet paper. It looked thin and ripped thick. In math, Ms. Hardy handed back quizzes and avoided my eyes. I raised my hand. You could say, I'm sorry that happened. She blinked. I don't want to be performative. Try being present. I am, she said. And then, after a breath she couldn't swallow. I'm sorry, Noah. Thank you, I said. And the tightness in my chest loosened a notch. Between periods, Jamal tapped his phone. Town's choosing sides. So am I texted back, even though he stood beside me. Which side? The side that names what happened without adding but. He grinned, sad. That side's underfunded. I'm crowdsourcing courage. Put me down for a monthly donation. I almost laughed. It came out crooked. After the final bell, I stepped into the hallway noise and felt the bruise pulse with each voice. The counselor reappeared with a flyer. We're hosting an evening forum. Will the forum slap me again or just talk about it? Noah, I'm tired of circles that never make a line forward. Tell me what a line looks like. An admission, a change, a cost. She let the flyer sag. I hope we can meet you there. Meet me where I am now. I walked home with the sun needling my cheek like pins. Mom met me at the door with a towel-wrapped ice pack. Don't read the comments. They already read my body. Promise me. I can't promise a thing that's already happening. She hovered the ice near my jaw. 5 minutes on, 5 off. Feels like punishment either way. It's care, she said, and her voice wobbled. Dad came in from his office, jacket off, tie loose. We'll file both civil and criminal complaints. Ava's drafting. You'll file, I said. I'll remember, he paused. Say more, I carry it. In the store? In the hallway, in math. I carry it when people ask me to keep the peace they broke. We'll carry it with you. You can't hold my face for me. I can hold the door you walk through. Mom set the ice in my hand. You don't have to be brave right this second. I already used brave buying juice. Dad exhaled. Then you can use rest now. I don't want to fall asleep before the world changes. It never will all at once, he said. That answer is honest, and I hate it. He nodded, accepting the hate like a cost he'd pay. You want to help write the statements? I want to help write the future. Statements are drafts of it. I don't want to be a draft. Mom brushed my hair back, careful of the bruise. You're the author. Then why does everyone else keep narrating? They won't forever, Dad said. You have a microphone now. I have a bruise. It's a microphone the world can't turn down, he said. We'll use it, not as spectacle, but as evidence. Evidence that hurts. Evidence that teaches. I looked at both of them and felt the heat change shape. It didn't cool, but it organized. My phone buzzed. Jamal again. They're editing your line. They're making t-shirts, I typed. Tell them not to sell my pain. What if it funds the case? He sent. What if it funds the forgetting? I wrote back. Mom squeezed my shoulder. You're shaking. I'm choosing. Between what? Dad asked. Silence and noise. I need a third thing. What is it? He said. Voice, I said, and the word fit. Night settled like a lid. I stood in the bathroom under hard light. The mirror kept the slap alive in yellow and violet. You never saw me as human, I said to the glass. The first time it sounded like someone else's scene. I dreaded that. I said it again. You never saw me as human. The words tasted like iron and medicine, bitter, necessary, curative if swallowed right. I watched my mouth form each syllable. I watched my eyes hold. Jamal texted, "Town hall tomorrow. You going?" Yes, I sent. I'm bringing my whole name. I turned off the light and let my reflection dissolve. The sentence stayed warm in my chest, like a hand ready to knock on a door I intended to open. The city is prepared to extend a settlement, the city attorney said, hands steepled like he'd invented mercy. An apology letter and an NDA. Ava didn't blink. He wants truth, not hush money, the police union lawyer smirked. This is generosity. From who to whom? I asked. Mom squeezed my hand under the table. Baby, safety matters. Dad's voice stayed even. We follow your lead. Walk me through the apology, I said to the city attorney. What does it teach? It acknowledges harm, he said. To who? To you. Will your apology teach Officer Calloway not to slap the next me? He hesitated, eyes slipping to the union lawyer like answers lived over there. Training will be reviewed. Training didn't lift his hand, I said. He did. The union lawyer leaned in, tie like a noose he'd learned to love. Take the deal. It spares everyone. Everyone? I asked. Or everyone who could be embarrassed. Ava tapped the folder, quiet percussion. Terms? Low 7 figures, the city attorney said. Letter signed by the department. Mutual non-disparagement. Confidentiality. Confidentiality of what? I said. My face? Of the agreement, he said. The agreement is the face, I said. It's what they'll see instead of what happened. Son, the union lawyer said, making the word dirty. You'll have college covered, therapy, security. I'd like a present tense that doesn't require a receipt for my humanity, I said. Mom's thumb moved circles on my knuckles. Noah, I want you breathing free. Money buys time to breathe. I want the air changed, I said. Dad shifted slightly, a small hinge of support. If you want trial, we prepare for trial. The city attorney sighed. A public fight inflames the city. The city is already inflamed, I said. You just prefer smoke to fire. Rhetoric, the union lawyer muttered. Reality, Ava said. And discovery, he shot her a look. You'll drag chat logs into this? Ava smiled without warmth. You just told me where to look. The city attorney cleared his throat. Consider the pressure on your family. Your father's position, my father's position is father, I said. Your position is to stop counting me as liability. Litigation is ugly, he tried again. Your offer is pretty, I said, and it still covers a bruise. Mom's hand tightened. Are you sure, baby? I'm tired of being a lesson unlearned, I said, and my voice didn't break. Every apology letter is a bandage sold as a cure. The union lawyer sat back. You'll regret this. I already do, I said. I regret how normal this felt. Silence walked around the table and tested each chair. I let it sit next to me. Ava opened the folder like a door. We reject the NDA. The city attorney pressed his lips together. No NDA, no settlement. Then you never offered safety, I said. You offered quiet. We offered closure, he said. Closure for whom? I asked. For the city, he said, as if the city were a single throat. Dad spoke gently. We can still discuss policy reform terms, use of force review, youth stop protocols, body cam audits. The union lawyer snorted. You want to write our manual? I want to live through it, I said. Ava slid a blank page in front of me. Write what you'd accept, she said. Say it how you mean it. I picked up the pen. My knuckles pulsed. Mom watched my hand like prayer. I wrote without pretty words. Public admission of wrongdoing by Officer Calloway and the department. Mandatory de-escalation retraining tied to discipline. Independent oversight with power to fire for excessive force on minors. Release of anonymized stop data by race and age quarterly. Funding for community programs chosen by those communities, not by PR. I pushed the page into the center. Add your number. I won't sign your silence. The city attorney scanned it like it might bite. You're asking for structural change. I'm asking to not rehearse this with someone else's kid. The union lawyer chuckled. You think you can turn one slap into a revolution? I think one slap is already a revolution, I said. Whether it changes the city or me is the question. Your counsel is filling your head, he said. My cheek is filling my head, I said. My memory did the rest. Ava folded her hands. You can meet him here or meet us in court. Your choice decides how much the city pays, in money or in trust. Mom inhaled like the room forgot oxygen. If we go forward, we go together. We go together, Dad said, no wobble. The city attorney pinched the bridge of his nose. We'll have to take this back to the mayor. Take it back to the mirror, I said. Ask what you want to see when you look. The union lawyer gathered his papers, each sheet slapped against the other like controlled anger. Last chance. No, I said. A day to reconsider? The city attorney offered. I don't need a day to reconsider what you never considered in the first place, I said. Me as whole, Ava stood. We'll await your written response to the policy terms. We're not agreeing to that list, he said. You weren't agreeing to my existence either, I said. And yet here I am. Mom brushed a knuckle along my jaw, a touch that knew where not to press. Proud of you. I'm scared, I whispered. I know, she said. Brave is scared walking, Dad held the door. Ready? Ready, I said, and the word felt earned. As we stepped out, the union lawyer called, You'll lose public sympathy when this drags. I turned. I don't need sympathy, I said. I need witnesses. He tilted his head. To what? To an ending that isn't a price tag, I said. Ava's hand found my shoulder, a weight and a lift at once. We proceed, she said. We moved down the hall. My heart beat a hard, steady drum. Behind us, papers rustled, chairs scraped, the small music of people clinging to familiar scripts. In front of us, the elevator glowed its indifferent light. Truth over quiet, I said to the metal doors. Names over numbers, Dad answered. Breath over bandage, Mom added. The doors slid open. We stepped in. I felt the drop in my stomach, and for once it didn't read as fear. It read as the city lowering us into the part where things change or we do. I chose the city. Call your case, the judge said, voice flat as the bench. Ava rose. People vs. Calloway, pre-trial hearing on motions. The union lawyer slid his chair back like victory had wheels. Your Honor, this was a split-second decision under stress. Ava didn't sit. He slapped a minor after a receipt. The judge held up a palm. We'll get there. Probable cause, was there any? Calloway cleared his throat. Suspicious behavior. I leaned toward the mic. Buying orange juice? A murmur rolled through the room like a cough no one wanted to claim. My jaw ached, but my voice didn't. The judge turned to him. Specify your suspicion. Non-compliance, Calloway said. Evasive movements. I reached for my receipt, I said. It had my name on it. The union lawyer sliced the air. He reached. Officer safety permits rapid control. Ava held up a page. Your Honor, transcript from the closest bystander video. Boy, don't move. Boy, don't reach. Boy, don't make me do this. 3 uses. Calloway stared at the wood grain. Not derogatory. Ava didn't raise her voice. Boy is never neutral from a man with power and a hand ready. Counsel, the judge warned, but I saw his pen pause, then keep moving. Ava lowered the page. We move to exclude any claim of furtive gestures, absent articulable specifics. The union lawyer scoffed. He flinched. I faced the bench. I flinched after the slap. Order, the judge said, though the room had already held its breath. Ava swiveled to me. Noah, the sequence, again! He grabbed my wrist. I said, I'm 17. He slapped me. I said my name. He asked for mercy. The judge's eyes flicked to Calloway. Counselor, your client admits contact occurred prior to arrest. On what basis? Officer safety, the union lawyer said, like a reflex he polished for a living. Safety from a receipt, I said. The laugh that slipped from the gallery sounded like a wound learning to breathe. The judge tapped his pencil once. You will control your audience. He told nobody and everybody. Ava set another document on the lectern. Body cam malfunction claims are contradicted by maintenance logs with no service request. We request an adverse inference. The union lawyer shook his head. Technology fails. Pattern fails too, Ava said. Training records show prior citations for premature escalation. He stiffened. That's character evidence. It's context, she said. The judge pinched the bridge of his nose. I'll hear argument on admissibility at trial. For now, probable cause? Calloway swallowed. He matched a vague description. I leaned into the mic. Vague always gets specific once my skin arrives. The judge looked at me for a beat too long, then back to the papers. Noted. Behind me, Dad's breath anchored mine. I whispered over my shoulder, small as a prayer, I can do this. His reply carried a whole house in it. You are doing it, the union lawyer tried a softer tone. Your Honor, we don't litigate tone. We litigate seconds. My client had seconds. Ava turned to the bench. Seconds that your clerk will tell you are long enough to say boy 3 times and long enough to slap a face you never saw as human. The judge's pencil stopped again. Miss Sinclair? Yes, Your Honor, she said, and let the sentence stand without repeating it. The union lawyer leaned on the lectern as if the wood could take sides. He feared a weapon. What weapon? I asked. The cap on the bottle? The barcode on the receipt? I'll ask the questions, he snapped. You did, I said. I answered. Ava touched my elbow, permission in reverse. Noah, when you said your age, why? Because I wanted him to see time he could not erase. The judge scribbled something. All right, scheduling, Ava pressed once more. People move to deny qualified immunity at this stage. Denied without prejudice, the judge said. We'll address post-discovery. Trial date is... The union lawyer cut in too fast. Your Honor, media pressure is irrelevant to my calendar, the judge said. A bailiff called out dates. My brain turned them into a drum line. I tasted metal again, not from fear this time, from the edge of something alive. The union lawyer whispered toward Calloway, thinking I couldn't hear. Hold the line. Calloway nodded, but his jaw trembled like a door on a bad hinge. I met his eyes. You can drop the line. You can pick up the truth. He looked away. The union lawyer stepped in front of his vision like a shield that preferred shadows. Ava stacked our exhibits with neat edges. Your Honor, one more housekeeping item. Protective order to prevent destruction of unit chats and roll call notes. Granted, the judge said. Sanctions will be swift, the union lawyer bristled. There's no evidence of spoliation. There will be no opportunity, the judge said. Ava turned to me, voice low. Breathe. I am, I said. For once the air isn't borrowed. The union lawyer tried gravity. Young man trials are long, I said. You told me that at the offer. I learned to count when they counted me wrong. He flushed. We'll see you at trial. You'll see me either way, I said. I live here. The judge capped his pen. We are adjourned. Counsel, chambers for scheduling. The gavel's rap didn't sound like endings to me. It sounded like a starting gun. Chairs scraped. Papers hissed. Voices dropped to whispers meant to survive microphones. I stood. My knees didn't wobble. Dad rose behind me, and the space he filled steadied the floor under my shoes. Ava leaned close. How do you feel? Like my spine learned its name, I said. She smiled, the warm kind this time. Good, keep it. Calloway's voice floated from my left, small and private to no one. I didn't mean I turned. You did. Meaning is choice. You chose a hand. His throat worked around an apology it couldn't carry. The union lawyer tugged his sleeve toward the side door. Not here. Where then? I asked. Where the echo can't reach. No answer. The door sighed shut behind them. Dad touched my shoulder, not heavy. Proud, he murmured. I wanted to throw up. You didn't. I wanted to shout. You didn't need to. Did it matter? It mattered in ways that take time to show, he said. But it mattered now to you. It did, I said, and the truth of that sat clean in my mouth. In the hallway, Reporters waited with questions shaped like nets. Ava lifted a hand. "No comments," she said, then tilted her head toward me. "Unless you want to make one." I thought of the store's humming fridge. The sting of palm, the word boy scraped thin. The receipt with my name. The offer wrapped in quiet. The bench, the gavel, the tremor in a jaw that had once cracked mine. "Say it," Dad said. Soft. I faced the microphones. "Split-second fear is not a license," I said. "It's a mirror. If you can slap a child faster than you can see him, you're not protecting us. You're protecting a story you wrote without us. My name is Noah Ellison. Put that on your transcript." I stepped back. The hallway echoed it once, then held it. My voice didn't feel borrowed anymore. It felt like something I had grown overnight and planned to keep. "I can't carry this," Officer Keene said, sitting across from us in the church basement, hands tucked into her sleeves like she wanted to vanish. Ava didn't blink. "Then don't." Keene slid her phone across the folding table. "Read." I looked down. "Group chat screenshots? Street cleansing. Keep them in line." Gifs of handcuffs bouncing like a joke. Laughing emojis stacked like a dare. My mouth went dry. "You texted back?" "I didn't stop it," she said. "Did you ever stop him?" I asked, and my voice sounded older than the room. "Not soon enough." Ava's tone shifted by a single degree. "Then start now." Keene nodded once. "I'll testify." "Under oath," I scrolled again. "Boy" spelled with an I and a winking face, I said. They thought the winking made it clever. Keene stared at the floor. "We were told morale needed gallows humor." "Whose gallows?" I asked, "and whose humor?" No answer. The radiator hissed. It felt like the church breathed for us. Ava tapped the phone with her pen. "We'll need the export chain of custody and your affidavit explaining context." "You'll get it," Keene said. "But I need something." "What?" "Protection." Ava nodded. "We'll move for a protective order and loop in the state AG. You won't be alone." Keene's voice cracked. I kept thinking it was just talk. "Talk draws maps," I said. "Hands follow," she winced. "I'm sorry." "I don't need sorry," I said. "I need sunlight." "We'll open the windows," Ava said. "Today?" Keene met my eyes for the first time. "You deserve someone to speak up the second he reached for you." "I deserve to buy orange juice," I said. She swallowed. "You did." I pushed the phone back to her. "Bring that to Lithium Price right now. Then meet us on the steps." "Press?" she asked like the word had teeth. "Witnesses," I said. "We keep gathering them." The church doors opened onto afternoon glare. Reverend Whitaker waited at the top of the stairs, collar white as a flag that meant the opposite. He took my hand. "You ready, son?" "No," I said. "But I'm done hiding." He nodded. "Confession precedes repair." Ava gave a quick rundown. "We confirm screenshots exist, identify themes without naming individual officers beyond Calloway yet, and announce Keene's intention to testify. No speculation." "Plain truth," I said. "Plain truth," she echoed. Microphones clustered like curious birds. A reporter called, "Noah, is this a witch hunt?" "I don't hunt witches," I said. "I expose habits." Another voice sharper. "Are you trying to dismantle the department?" "I'm trying to dismantle the parts that treat my face like target practice." Cameras clicked. Reverend Whitaker stepped to the podium first. "We gather on sacred steps because harm happened where it should never happen, within the reach of law. Confession precedes repair. Repair is not cheap," a murmur, then a hush. He stepped back. Ava nodded to me. I took the mic. It felt heavier than the gavel sounded. "They wrote jokes about my pain," I said. "I'm not a punchline." Hands shot up. "What do you want?" a woman asked. "Consequences that teach," I said. "Reforms that last. A city where hands where I can see them isn't a death knell." "Specifics?" someone else shouted. "Independent oversight with firing power for excessive force on minors," I said. "Public stop data. Discipline that isn't just paid vacation. Training that measures outcomes, not hours." Another reporter. "Do you forgive Officer Calloway?" "I don't hand out forgiveness like a press pass," I said. "Accountability first, humanity after. In that order. Are you being coached?" A man sneered. "My bruise coached me," I said. "My memory runs the rehearsals." A hush again, then a cluster of whispers. Ava angled her body so I could breathe without seeing the swarm. Keen edged onto the steps, pale but steady. The sight settled my stomach and sharpened it at the same time. A reporter spotted her. "Officer, are you corroborating the chats?" Keen's voice barely cleared the mic. "I am." "Why now?" he pressed. "Because I finally heard the echo loud enough," she said, and looked at me. "And because he shouldn't have been touched." "Name the officers in the thread," someone demanded. Ava raised a hand. "We will submit names through proper channels. Today we confirm records exist and that an officer will testify. The law will carry them the rest of the way." "Is this systemic?" another asked. "Systems are just habits with badges," I said. "We're unlearning them in public." Reverend Whitaker leaned in. "And we are not here to watch contrition theater. We are here to build conditions where the next child is not a stage." "Do you fear backlash?" a reporter asked me. "Yes," I said. "Fear and I are roommates. But I won't pay its rent." A laugh in the crowd, kind, not mocking, broke something brittle in my chest. "Will you settle now that you have leverage?" Someone else asked. "I won't sell the light for a quieter room," I said. "If settlement doesn't change the air, it changes nothing." Keen's hands trembled around the phone. I whispered sideways off mic, "Breathe." "I am," she said. For the first time in months, a man near the edge yelled, "You hate cops!" "I hate harm," I said. "If your identity requires harm, step out of it. Do you want him fired?" Another voice cut in. "I want him to stop being a danger," I said. "If firing is the only fluent language he understands, then yes." Ava touched my elbow. "Two more," she murmured. "Is the church getting involved in politics?" A reporter asked the Reverend. "The church is getting involved in humanity," he said. "God's jurisdiction is not smaller than City Hall." The last question came from a young reporter with a nervous smile. "What do you tell other kids who are scared?" "I tell them fear is an alarm, not a verdict," I said. "Name it, don't let it name you. And when someone tells you to keep your hands where they can see them, keep your voice where they can hear it." I stepped back. The clatter rose again, questions breeding questions, and then softened as people realized I was done. Ava guided me off to the side door. My legs felt like they belonged to a taller version of me. I tried to keep up. Keen followed, shoulders tight. "They'll come for me," she said. "We'll meet them," Ava answered. With law and light, I faced Keen. "When you testify, say it like it happened." "No pretty words." "No pretty words," she repeated. "Only the ones that hurt right." Reverend Whitaker clasped my shoulder. "Confession precedes repair, but repair requires bricks." "I brought some," I said, and tapped my chest. "Truth, consequence, change." He smiled, tired and bright. "We'll build," Ava's phone buzzed. "Latina Price wants the files now," she said to Keen. "I'll walk them over," Keen answered, voice steadier than her hands. "I'm done hiding." "Me too," I said. We slipped into the cool hallway. The crowd noise thinned into echo and then into a kind of quiet that didn't feel like silence. It felt like the pause between the first strike of a hammer and the second, air full of dust motes and decision. I breathed it in and didn't choke. Lisa Chen tapped the mic. "We're here to listen. Keep your comments to 1 minute." "I've had months stolen," I said. "I'll use my minute." A man in a union polo stood first. "Don't demonize officers. They go where the danger is. Stop canonizing harm," I said. Danger followed me to a fridge full of orange juice. A businessman in a blazer rose. His smile felt like a receipt he wanted me to sign. "Protests scare customers." Mom's voice came from 3 rows back. "Slaps scare mothers," a ripple of noise. Chair legs scraped. Lisa raised a hand. One at a time. Reverend Whitaker stepped to the aisle mic. "Confession without change is theater." "I'm here for policy," I said. "Not a matinee?" The union rep jabbed a finger at me. "You want blood?" "I want breath," I said. "Every kid's. Cops are human," he shot back. "So am I," I said. "I just have less room to prove it." A woman near the wall called, "What's your endgame, Noah?" "Accountability with teeth," I said. "And a department that counts us as citizens before it counts seconds." Lisa nodded toward the left. "Next speaker." Boots clicked on tile. I didn't need to look to know the rhythm. I looked anyway. Calloway stepped into the light of the center aisle. His eyes were rimmed, like sleep had become bad paper. "I want to apologize," he said. My stomach knotted, not from surprise, from the shape of what always comes after apologies that happen on microphones. "To whom?" "To you." He lifted the mic with both hands like he needed help holding it steady. "I have a son. So do my parents," I said. The room inhaled. "I don't want to be this man," he said, voice thin. The union rep hissed from the front row. "Brett, sit down." Calloway didn't move. "Please," he said, eyes falling into mine and refusing to climb out. "I'm asking for—" "I don't have a better word than forgiveness. You're asking me to carry you out of the thing you built," I said. "I'm asking for a step," he said. One step away from it. I felt something quake inside me. It wasn't pity. It was clarity trying on its adult voice. "Accountability first," I said. "Humanity after." In that order, the room stilled. Even the HVAC seemed to listen. Calloway's throat worked around a swallow. "How do I do that?" "You start by naming it without flinching," I said. "Say what you did." He shut his eyes. "I struck a minor without cause." "Say whom?" I said. He opened them. "I struck you, Noah Ellison, without cause." "And what did you call me?" My voice didn't shake. The bruise wasn't on my face anymore. It had moved to the sentence waiting in my mouth. He looked at the floor. "Boy, what did that word mean in your mouth?" I asked. "It meant control," he whispered. "It meant I didn't see you." I nodded once. "That's the first inch." The union rep surged to his feet. "This is a show trial." Reverend Whitaker's voice cut through. "This is confession. Repair requires cost." The businessman tried again. "What about lost revenue on Main Street?" Mom stood. "What about lost pulse on my child?" Lisa tapped the mic. "We will maintain order." A high school teacher I recognized from nowhere and everywhere said, "Noah, if he apologizes and you still call for consequences, what's the point?" "The point," I said, "is to make sure the next apology is unnecessary." A teen in the back lifted her phone like a lifeline. "What do you want him to do right now?" "Step away from his gun," I said. "Step toward the policies that could take it off his belt when he can't be trusted with it. Commit to decertification review without bargaining." Calloway nodded slowly. "I will," the union rep sputtered. "You don't speak for us." "He speaks for himself," I said. Finally, Calloway looked at me and I saw a man without a script for the first time. "I'll testify against what we joked about. The chats, the street cleansing garbage, the emojis, all of it. Then say it like you mean it," I said. "It was racist," he said. The word thudded on the wood floor. "It was racist and cowardly." A woman near the aisle clapped once, then stopped, like she didn't trust her hands with this moment. Lisa inclined her head, neutral but human. "Keep going." "I'll take training I used to mock," he said. "I'll accept discipline." "If decertification is recommended, I won't fight it," the union rep swore under his breath. "You're ending your career." Calloway didn't look at him. "I ended my right to this badge when I hit a child." Something uncoiled in my chest. Not relief. Not victory. Something closer to balance rediscovering itself. "Words are cheap," the businessman said, almost gentle maybe for the first time. "How do we know the next guy won't just say them?" "We change the budget before we change the speech," I said. "Body cams that can't be malfunctioned without flagging. Independent review that doesn't report to the chief. Public stop data by race and age every quarter." Reverend Whitaker added, "And community seats with veto power over training content." Lisa looked at me. "Would you accept his apology after that?" "I'd accept his choice to join the repair crew," I said. "An apology is a doorbell." "Repair is walking in with tools." Calloway's voice shrank and steadied at the same time. "Where do I start?" "Start with Latine Price," I said. "Start with a sworn statement. Start with calling your kid and saying the truth out loud where he can hear it." "I hurt someone." "There are consequences." "I'm taking them." He nodded, tears finally falling without theatrics. "Okay." Mom's hand found my shoulder. Her touch said 1,000 unprintable things, and one clear one. "I see you." The union rep slumped. "City's going to eat us alive," he muttered. "The city has teeth," I said. It also has a spine when we lend it ours. A man in a faded work shirt stood. I don't like protests blocking the bridge, he said. But I don't like burying kids more. Then you already chose, I said. You just needed to hear yourself. Lisa glanced at the clock. Last question. A girl barely older than me stepped to the mic. Do you hate him? I hate what he did, I said. I refuse to practice hating as a hobby. I'm busy building conditions where he can't do it again. Calloway wiped his face. I'm sorry, he said again. Smaller, realer. I breathed, not to answer him, but to check if my lungs remembered something besides anger. They did. Accountability first, I said once more, not as a dagger, as a blueprint. Humanity after. In that order. No one clapped. No one booed. The room just stilled. For once, the sentence landed the same way in every ear. It felt less like winning and more like leveling a room that had always been tilted and finally wasn't, if only by a few honest inches. I stood in that tiny level ground and decided not to move. Mr. Ellison, the judge said, you may deliver your statement. I stood, palms damp on the paper I wasn't going to read. You never saw me as human, I said, voice low, steady. You saw a problem to solve with your hand. Calloway's shoulders jerked. I'm sorry, he said, the words stumbling into the mic. I'm sorry. I believe you're sorry for the room, I said. I needed you sorry for the moment. When there wasn't a microphone. When my cheek was the only witness you respected. Ava's hand hovered near my elbow, not touching. Your Honor, with the court's permission, we move to admit supplemental messages recovered from the unit's group chat. The judge nodded. Admitted. Ava passed binders to the clerk. Pages 12 through 27. Terms like street cleansing, directives to keep them in line, emojis indicating amusement at control. Names are redacted here, unredacted in chambers, the union lawyer shifted. Context, Your Honor. Gallows humor. Humor requires consent, I said. I wasn't in the room to laugh. Lieutenant Price stepped to the stand, hand raised. I swear, she sat. Our internal review found policy failures. Body cam activation compliance at 71%. De-escalation steps skipped in 38% of stops involving minors. And defective disciplinary tracking that allowed repeat violations to be treated as first offenses. The judge's pen paused. Documented. Documented, she said. We've secured devices, preserved chats, and flagged potential evidence tampering. Ava turned a page. Officer Calloway, you claimed a malfunction. He stared at the desk. Yes. Maintenance logs show no service request. Explain. I don't have one, he said. The judge looked over his glasses. Officer, this court is not a place to misplace truth. Calloway's voice thinned. I turned it on. I thought I did. You slapped me, I said. You turned me off. He flinched like the word had hands. Ava addressed the bench. Your Honor, beyond physical harm, the record shows cultural permission for excessive control. We're asking the court to recognize harm beyond bruises and to impose remedies that outlive this case. The union lawyer stood. Remedies belong to policy, not this courtroom. Law is policy with teeth, Ava said. We're asking for bite. The judge folded his hands. I will consider appropriate sanctions and recommendations. He turned to me. Mr. Ellison, anything further? Yes, I said. He asked me to keep my hands where he could see them. Today I'm asking our city to keep its hands where we can see them too. On a manual, it will actually follow. On a camera, it can't conveniently forget. On a ledger that counts us before it counts cases. Calloway's breath hitched. Noah, mercy? I looked back at Dad. He didn't nod advice. He nodded presence. It steadied me like a spine I'd grown into. Mercy, I said, turning to the bench. Should not outrun justice. Let his son learn from his father's consequence, not his escape. The judge wrote something I couldn't see, then spoke like stepping stones. This court recognizes harm beyond bruises. Sanctions will include civil penalties, mandatory reforms at the department level, external audit of stops involving minors, and referral to the State Commission for decertification review. The union lawyer rose too fast. Your Honor, counsel, the judge said, one word enough. He lifted the gavel. We are not sentencing a villain. We are correcting a culture. Orders will issue in writing. This court is adjourned. The gavel struck. It didn't crack the room. It said it. Calloway turned toward me as chairs scraped and papers hissed. "I meant it," he said. "The apology. I meant it too," I said. "The order." He nodded like a man stepping off a curb he could finally see. Ava gathered our files. "We'll monitor compliance," she said. "Quarterly, publicly, good," I said. "I don't want this to become a headline that ages into a myth." Lieutenant Price approached us, eyes clear. "The review will be ugly." "Ugly has been living rent-free," I said. "It can pay up." Dad laid a warm palm between my shoulders. "You carried yourself." "I carried the store," I said. "And the fridge. And the word boy. And the body that had to be older than its age to survive a minute." He didn't correct me with hope. He agreed with me with breath. Reporters waited at the door, microphones like little spears ready to be seeds. Ava murmured, "No statements today unless you want one." "I've said enough to feed a week," I said. "Let the order speak." We stepped into the hallway. The air felt different. Not lighter, just aligned. "Kid. Noah." The voice came from near the benches, rough as a broom handle. "Frank DeLuca," I turned. "Frank." He wrung his cap the way he had that first afternoon. "I'm sorry I froze." "I needed you loud," I said. He flinched like it landed. "I know I think about my wife watching that video. I think about your mother in that store. I should have stood in it with you." "You can still stand," I said. "Stand where it helps." "I will." His eyes brightened, not performative, just wet. "I'll put the video on a loop in my head so I don't forget where my voice belongs. I'll testify in the oversight hearings. I'll fire anyone who jokes like those texts." "Fire or teach," I said. "In that order." He nodded, firm now. "Loud," he said like a vow. "I'll be loud now." Mom's text buzzed my pocket. "Proud of you. Soup at home. Come breathe," I typed back. "On my way." Breathing on the walk, Ava touched my sleeve. "We'll draft a public summary of the orders." "Add the sentence," I said. "Which one?" "This court recognizes harm beyond bruises." She smiled, the kind that didn't need teeth. "Already highlighted." Dad and I moved toward the exit. Behind us, a bailiff stacked files. The union lawyer whispered strategy that smelled like old smoke, and somewhere Calloway called someone he loved to say words he should have learned sooner. "Hungry?" Dad asked. "Starved," I said. "For quiet, that isn't silence." "Home has both," he said. We pushed through the courthouse doors. Daylight hit my face, the same face that had learned a whole new language and chose to keep speaking it. I felt the bruise in memory instead of skin. It still hurt. It also held. The bell over the door gave that same tired ding. I walked to the counter. The fridge hummed like a memory that learned to hold its breath. Frank set a bottle on the counter. "On the house." "No discounts," I said. "Just respect," he swallowed. "You got it. I'll pay." "You already did," he murmured. "With my face," I said. "Now I want to use my wallet." He nodded, reached for the register. "Cash or card?" "Card." I slid it across. "And a printed receipt." He printed it fast, like the request mattered. "Anything else?" "Yeah," I said. "If someone gets loud at your door, I want you louder for the right person." "I will," he said. "I'll be loud on purpose." "Good." He watched me sign, eyes shiny, not pity, something like correction. "Noah, thank you for coming back." "I'm not here to haunt this place," I said. "I'm here to human it." "I'll help," he said. "I'll be a better witness next time." "Let's make sure there isn't a next time." I picked up the bottle. The cold kissed my palm without the old sting. "We square?" "We're straight," he said. "Paid in full." I stepped outside. Afternoon light didn't flinch. Dad sat on the curb like a bench he trusted to hold us both. I joined him, the concrete warm through my jeans. "I wanted to storm that room," he said. "You did," I said, smiling, tired. "With your voice." He reached into his jacket, careful, ceremonial. "I brought you something." "What?" He handed me the crumpled receipt from that first day. The crease felt like a fault line that didn't break us after all. "You kept it?" "Proof of purchase," he said. "Proof of person," I breathed. The paper felt heavier than paper. He nodded, quiet. You earned new proof today. Not because a judge spoke, because you did. Together, I said. I leaned on your name. You leaned on mine. My favorite barter, he said. I laughed, the kind that didn't scrape. I like cashing in dignity. Spend it everywhere, he said. Demand change. Exact change, I said. No rounding down, my phone buzzed. Mom, I said, and put her on speaker. My baby, she said, joy thick in her voice. My man. Both can be true, I said. They are, she said. How's the cheek? Healed in skin, I said. Working on memory. Memory takes the slow road, she said. I made soup. Come home and let me overfeed your victory, Dad grinned. He's already full of speeches. Good, she said. A full mouth can't swallow lies. I closed my eyes. We went back to the store, and? Frank tried to comp the juice. I said no. Good, she said again, softer. No freebies. Just respect. Exactly. Drive safe, she said. And if a thought starts to gnaw, tell it to wait until you have soup and a blanket. I'll book it a later appointment, I said. Love you, my baby. Love you. My man, Dad echoed with her. I love both my men, she said, laughing, and hung up on her own joy. The curb held us like the world finally learned a seating chart. I took a breath that didn't do math first. You hungry? Dad asked. For home, I said. And for after. What's after? Building. With what? I tapped the receipt against my palm. With proof. With policy. With people who will be loud on purpose. He leaned back on his hands. Lead the way. I will, I said. But I want a crew. You have one, he said. Mom, Ava, Reverend, Jamal, Frank, Lieutenant Price, and whatever brave strangers decide to stop being strangers. My phone buzzed again. Jamal. Still here? Still here, I typed. Still loud. Louder than ever, he replied. Town wants you at the youth forum next week. You in? I'm in, I wrote. But no t-shirts. No slogans without work. Deal. We'll bring chairs and questions. Bring ears, I added. We'll leave with answers and chores. He sent a fist bump emoji, then a heart he'd claim was for the work. I let it be both. Dad watched the text light my face. Your friend? Yeah, he's scheduling Hope. Good staff choice, Dad said. I twisted the cap off the juice and took a long pull. Cold, I said. Not sharp. Progress, he said. Small and big, I said. Small like swallowing. Big like walking out of a room with the order in your pocket? He nodded at the store window. Want to say anything else to Frank? I already did, I said. He heard me. I paused. You know what I didn't say inside? What? Thank you for raising me loud. He shook his head. I didn't raise you loud. I raised you to know which rooms needed volume and which needed precision. You chose both. I want other kids to have both without the bruise, I said. Then build them a manual, he said. One the city can't ignore. Let's call it hands where we can see them, I said, smiling. For the city, and for us, he said. Hands out. Work visible. I tucked the crumpled receipt into my wallet behind my ID. Paper next to plastic, proof next to proof. Ready to go home? Dad asked. In a minute, I said. I looked at the door, the bell, the humming fridge. None of it was holy, and somehow all of it felt redeemed by use. I want to walk a lap around the block without flinching. I'll walk with you. Good, I said. But one condition. Name it. No talking for the first half of the block, I said. I want to hear how the air sounds when it's not afraid of me. Done, he said. We stood. The concrete gave up our weight without protest. I took 3 steps, then 5, then 10, counting not out of fear but out of ceremony. The street noise folded into something that didn't test my shoulders. My cheek didn't remember how to wince. Halfway down, I broke our silence. Let's build something from this. Lead the way, he said again. I will, I said, and turned the corner. The echo that used to chase me stayed behind the building like a shadow that finally learned it wasn't in charge. My name walked ahead of me without needing to shout. My feet followed. My voice kept the pace.